I'm here today at Live Link Ups with Bernard, which is someone we've known each other since what year?
2000.
Wow. So we built out a production facility together. How many edit bays were at that place?
We had three, apparently. We had one main 5.1 surround room, which was full editing with had a voiceover booth. And there were two other rooms that they tried to figure out.
And that was all upstairs, right?
Upstairs, yeah.
And then a machine room with a couple of racks.
There was a machine room that you and I took weeks to wire with hundreds of feet of cables. And
there was three of us and Kip.
And Kip, yes.
We'll talk about Kip in a future video. But yeah, three of us sat at a table. Yeah. It felt like it was never ending. Days and days of stretching cable, crimping and soldering.
Right.
Breathing those fumes from the
solder.
Oh, man. And then, soundstage downstairs.
Soundstage downstairs.
You had an office downstairs that became another studio.
Right, which became the Live Feed studio.
Which leads right into what we're doing here today.
Yeah.
So just real quick, we'll do a tour in a little bit, but just top level, where are we and what do we do?
This is Live Link Ups broadcast. This is a broadcast service 24/7. We cater to all the news networks, groups, locally, internationally, and around the world. We have 3 studios, and we're live at any given time.
So when you and I were building out that production company, we were both just working freelance. And they offered you a job?
They offered me a full-time job as the facility manager, and that meant taking care of the whole facility, the editing, or making sure everything was set up. And then obviously the sound stage, then I became the stage manager. And so I had to handle production, stage managing, painting, everything, learning the whole stage, how to paint the green screen and all that stuff. It was like a really, first there in the morning and last to leave at night. So it was really
I remember
stressful.
many shoots. I'd roll up there at 7 in the morning and you'd already been there for an hour.
Yeah.
And then we'd finish up 10, 12 hours later, and then you would be there for another several hours to roll on new paint on the site. And you essentially lived there. You ran that building.
It's one of the reasons why I actually quit, because it was just getting a little too much for me. And I felt I wanted to go on my own. And I'm sure, I figured with my knowledge and expertise, I'm sure I could have figured something out. And as I left, people started calling me and hey, how come you're not doing live feeds anymore, live shots, what's going on? And I said, well, I'm kind of out of the business. They said, no, we need, these people know what they're doing. Let's figure something out. Okay, this is the control room. And this is the hub of everything around, that controls everything in all 3 studios. Studio 1, Studio A, Studio B, and Studio C. So they're all coming up. And on the router, I can route everything I want back and forth. I can route Studio 1 through line 4, or line 5 through Studio B. So we have 6 lines coming in, and we have 4 lines going out.
And explain the outbound side. What does that mean? Where is that going?
Outbound is when somebody books a program or a live feed, they'll book one of our lines, and then we'll send the studio down that line. Whichever studio is available, we'll send the guest in the studio down that line.
So that's going to like New York, Atlanta, London.
New York, London, like London, Australia, Germany, whatever. It's how close we are today with broadcast. It's amazing.
Got it. And that's mostly the like cable news outlet.
Cable
format,
news,
right?
media, internet broadcasting, all that kind of stuff. It's all part of the media umbrella.
Great. Well, let's go check out Studio A.
So this is Studio A. This is our premiere room. We do mainly live feeds, but also do production, commercial, as well as corporate videos for different companies that want to rent the studio. So everything's movable, everything's arrangeable. We have a green screen, so we can also go to a black site, and then eventually we could also go to the white site behind that. So we have 4 different screens we can put behind.
All the lighting's up on a dimmer board, right?
All the lighting's up. It's all controlled by DMX. It's all dimmable and controllable for dramatic effect and lighting. This is an 80-inch monitor that we project all our backgrounds for our guests, and it's It's a motorized elevated lift, so we can go up or down depending what we're doing, standing up, sitting down.
And that's a view of Irvine or Newport?
This is a view of Irvine.
Irvine. And I assume you have different times of day for the live shots?
Yeah, this is predominantly like maybe 6 o'clock p.m. with the light going down, and the lights are coming up, and so the sun's going down, and there's the lights coming up.
All right, so run through for me. This is a side I never see, the talent side of the chair. What's the experience like?
So the guest comes in, he's seated. The great thing about our studio is everything is sterilized. So once a guest is done, we'll take their earpiece and sterilize it, and then put it in one of these containers, and then we'll take it out when the guest arrives. I'll give you a demonstration. We'll pull it out of the sealed container. It's really sealed and sterilized. We'll take that out, and then we'll put it on the earpiece, which, depending if it's left or right, we have left, small, medium, large, and then we have right, small, medium, large. And all these have different earpieces. Some guests return, so we have their earpieces there for them when they arrive here. To give you an example.
And is that's like a dedicated phone patch back to the producer?
Yes, this goes back to the phone line, and then we have two lines. We'll have an IFB, which will go into the ear of the guest, and then we'll have the microphone, which will go through a board, mixing board. So the reason we use a board because we have sometimes 2 or 3 guests, and they want to be able to mic all of them separately, and so that's why we're able to have 3 IFBs, 3 separate, but they all tie into each other, so it all works at the same time.
Who's controlling the mix on the IFB? Is that you in the control room? That's like the whoever the correspondent is that's conducting the interview versus a producer in New York, or if you need, can you jump in on that line and provide instructions?
No, what happens is there's 2 lines that we dial. One is for the producer line, which and the program, which is for the IFB, and then there's another line we dial, which is the PL line, which is called the producer line, and that line gives us instruction. Zoom in, pull out the shot. Your audio is too loud. Can you make it softer? Audio is too soft. Can you make it louder? Can you frame the guest? He's moving around. Can you move with him? You know what I mean? So those are instructions. You basically like you're in a live studio, and you're doing the switch with the producer, basically. So he's telling you, hey, move, zoom in. So you're basically part of that crew for that 10-minute or 5-minute interview that you're on.
Yeah. How much chair time is it? Typical live shot. How long is the talent in the chair for?
5 minutes, or they could be on for the full hour. Okay, this is our makeup station. So we have 6 makeup artists that we use in a rotational system, so everybody gets a fair chance to get used, and so nobody's being left out. We try to make it fair for everybody. Green room area, relaxing, waiting to go on. This is Studio B. Good thing about Studio B is it's a live broadcast studio, but at the same time, we double it as a Skype studio. A lot of companies use our Skype studio because they don't have the quality, the cameras, the interface, and the connection that we do to be able to make it seem more like a real live shot. I'm just going to show you how I do a setup for Skype.
And this could be any platform, right?
It could
Like
be any
Skype,
platform.
Zoom,
Skype,
FaceTime.
Zoom, yeah, whatever platform you need. So here we go. So I'm on Skype right now. I'm in full screen, HD mode. And if you look in the teleprompter, you'll be able to see a picture of me as well.
So right now we're just in the setup screen.
In the setup screen, yeah. So I'm showing how the video works through.
So your eye line's directly into the camera, just like a
eye line's
television
directly in the camera.
shot.
Yeah, I'm looking at myself, at the person whoever comes on, because they'll be prominent on that screen.
And even during the pandemic right now, you've been doing some Skype sessions that people want to come in here instead of doing it from their office.
Exactly, because it looks the quality is amazing.
Yeah, just proper lighting, makeup if they need it,
and then also the right camera angle and
good audio.
And good audio.
That's the thing that's lacking from the
good
majority
audio.
of those Zoom calls.
And I'm looking right at the camera, and I'm not looking down like this and it looks like unprofessional. I'm looking right at the camera. I'm gauging So that's
And during one of these sessions, during the hit, are you in the room, or is a technician in here, or is it all from the control room? Once this...
in this situation, we control this from the room. Once I set up the Skype call, I'll go to the other room, into the control room, and just monitor everything, because I don't want to be in the same room. Sometimes we always like to be in the control room in case anything happens or there's a problem.
Talk to me about the business side a little bit. Like, if I wanted to book one of these rooms, am I reserving it for the day, or
No.
how does it work?
We book the room for broadcast. It's in 15-minute increments. So most people book a 15-minute window. Predominantly, they'll book a 15 with a 15 approx. So that means they'll book in a 30-minute window. So you're really tied into the studio for 30 minutes. So if they book a 15 with a 15 approx, that means it's 30 minutes. So we bill them on the 30-minute rate. We do 30 minutes and then we do an hour. We also do 45 minutes. Most guys, they book a 45-minute window because sometimes they'll get their guests in between the time that they book.
Fascinating. This is so different than my world of day rates. Just trying to fill days in the calendar.
Yeah.
You're so you can stack up. Like, what's a record for the number of most bookings in a day?
When COVID-19 started, we did like over 10 feeds in a day. That was like a record. It was like things were going down. There was people trying to get on and people trying to get on TV to get their message across, to explain what's going on, and it was something new that we've never experienced before. So it was kind of scary and all at the same time.
And you've had some I don't know, big players in the building over the years.
Right.
Elected officials, members of Congress.
Members of Congress. We've had governors in here. Gavin Newsom's been in here several times. Mayors from all cities around Orange County have been in here.
Pro athletes.
Pro athletes, generals from the U.S. Army. A lot of famous people come through these doors from time to time.
So I got on the way in, I got a shot of a corporate jet flying right all over the building on final for John Wayne Airport. And being so close to the airport, that was part of your plan, right?
Right, to be close to the airport also, as well as close to university or some kind of high-profile school where there's a lot of people that get interviews. And so I'm close to UCI, close to John Wayne Airport. And you'd think that you'd hear the planes in here, but a few planes have gone by already, and we haven't heard one since we've been in here. So the building is very well, as far as soundproofing. We're on the lower floor, so whatever's above us is absorbing most of the sound, and that's the reason why we chose the lower level.
Great. So we'll move on in a moment to Studio C, and while we're walking, talk about how big of a staff do you have here to run everything?
I'm the only person that runs the business. I have an accountant that helps me with the billing. If we need extra people to come in, then I'll hire freelance engineers to come and help during the day while we're busy and taking care of a large workload. We also hire production people as well, so a camera guy, audio guy for the day to do production for different companies. So that's what we do as well.
Great. Do you try to work a fixed schedule, or what are your hours like on a week?
My hours I'm 24 hours a day. So I could be working at 6 in the morning, then at the gym at 6:30, and then waiting around for the next feed at 10 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? So it's just, I'm anywhere.
So I know you also do a lot of international feeds, so you could be 12, 14-hour time difference.
Correct.
Right, so you're
like
here.
with Australia, it's like 17 hours ahead. So so we got to take those into effect. But most of the time, if people are going to book from such a far away, they'll give us enough notice so we can plan and make sure, because 17 hours ahead of us is a long time. So we got to figure out the time and GMT and whatever it is. That's crazy.
So while we walk to Studio C, you've got this live feed news thing dialed, and you've worked to expand in other pieces. We saw the psychs, and I've shot some medical training videos here on the green screen and white psych. And as we walk to Studio C, that's another business service you've been developing.
Right. So what happens in Studio C, so not only do we do live feeds, but we're also doing podcasting and voiceovers. So we've expanded our business a little bit because of how the demand is, and a lot of people are asking for podcasting, so that's why we developed the podcasting studio. So let me show you what's going on here. Okay, this is Studio C, so we do live feeds, podcasting, and voiceovers. This is the podcasting console. We have 4 microphones, and we can have 2 dial-in callers, which is huge for people doing a podcast. So people can dial in if they can't make it in, then they can dial in.
And then you've got a console here. We can have all your pre-recorded bumpers.
All pre-recorded bumpers and shows and everything. So you can hit any of these. You can pre-program in, and then throughout the show, you can just bump them in as you like, as a real show.
Does the host typically run the gear, or do you have a tech in here?
I'm the engineer, or if I want to train somebody else to do later when we start getting more busy, then we're definitely going to do that. I like to have an engineer in here because that's how the whole thing works. We basically package the show for the guest or the podcaster.
And if you want to do a podcast that's also like a video switch multicam, you can put 3 cameras in here,
basically,
right?
we can put 3 cameras in here. We already have a camera, so all we have to do is just connect to the internet, and then we could do a podcast, video podcast.
And you switch, if it's multicam, you're back in the control room.
Back in the control room,
yeah. Switch.
Yeah.
Nice. And then you just did some A-list talent voiceover work in here for a film?
For the History Channel.
Yeah, great.
For a documentary, yeah.
So you've built this thing up. It's been how many years? Live Link Ups?
Live Link Ups has been in business since 2005.
15 years. Multiple locations. You've
Multiple
expanded
locations.
each time.
We've been expanding. This is our biggest location so far.
So each time I chat with someone new in the business that wants to, they're usually working a staff job and they've got an idea and they want to go freelance in media or start their own business. And the conversation always leads to kind of the legal structure of how you set up your business, entity type and insurance. You've been in business for 15 years. What type of company structure is Live Link Ups?
There are a lot of options. We chose the S Corp option because it kind of gave us a little bit of protection as a business starting out, not knowing the ins and outs of business. It kind of gave us a bit of protection, and I was happy that we actually did the research and had the lawyer do the S Corp for us. The other thing you definitely need is liability insurance. Liability insurance gives you the protection you need if somebody hurts themselves on your facility. You're protected against that. You could also protect against theft, damage, that kind of thing. So that liability insurance is a key, and it's a must.
All right, so much like my customer base, the majority of your clients are major corporations, big media companies. And it's not like a point of purchase in retail where you get paid when you do the work. Right? Like, walk me through the process after the job's done, getting paid.
Back in the day, I call it 15 years ago, we were being paid on a 90-day payment period. Since direct deposit has taken shape and taken over, we're now getting paid between 45 days and sometimes even as 30 days. So the direct deposit is beneficial to any business doing stuff that you know that you're going to get your money faster than waiting for a check to arrive in the mail.
So after accounts receivable, you got to pay yourself. Talk to me about that. Like, what's your comp structure? How frequently and how do you pay yourself?
We signed up with ADP. So ADP takes care of all our payroll, all our what do you call it, Social Security, all the taxes withdrawn and everything, which is great for us, so we don't have to worry about that. And we get paid once a month. My wife does all the collections and the receivables of all the incoming payments that come in. She does the aging and all the accounting that goes to the company. And so we draw a minimum amount of money, just enough to get us by month to month. It's important that you use a good company like ADP to take care of all your payroll, your taxes, your 401, all that kind of stuff that leads into, at the end of the year when you're looking to see how much profit you made and to see how much you can forecast for the future. So
and that's important for customers to understand that too. That
it's very important. So you can pay your taxes. I mean, it's got to be legitimate. Don't think you can get your way around things because it doesn't work that way. Always be fair. Always be upfront.
All right, and the last piece, and actually the thing people are most interested in, CapEx in business speak, but buying new gear. What's your plan or strategy for updating equipment?
What we've noticed in in recent years is we do a lot of contracting. So when we do a contract with a company that's going to use us for like a season, whether it's football or baseball or whatever, we use that money. We put that aside and we use that money to buy new equipment as we need it, new lighting, like we've just added to this room. And so yeah, we use that to budget every year. Hopefully we can get those contracts to continue, so we can always be updated on the equipment that we need.
So okay, so like for a football season, if you get a contract that's ongoing
For 18, 20 weeks.
and then you take a percentage of that revenue and you just allocate it for gear up front.
Absolutely, up front, yes.
Because you know stuff's going to break, become
Yes.
obsolete.
Yeah.
The customer's going to ask for new stuff.
Right.
So you have a plan. You're not like in panic mode the night before trying to buy something.
No, never do that.
Yeah, good. Great.
And plus we have 3 of everything, so if anything goes wrong, we can always pull from one studio. Everything's the same. Everything's the same. There's just the rooms are different sizes, but all the equipment's the same. We've kept it streamlined to keep it like that. So if anything goes wrong, we can mix and swap, and it's all swappable.
That's so important to hear, and I think you hear that from anyone who's been in the business for 10 or more years.
Yeah.
They're all about simplifying.
Yeah.
Like there's so much technology involved, and it's those little things that burn you in the moment. And you got to have all the same gear, have redundancy.
Always have spares. I have like 3 or 4 lav mics always ready to go. Spare batteries. I mean, just stuff that you need. You know what I mean?
Just outside of broadcast, if you need to do a little corporate message and shoot some of your staff on a green screen, like I said earlier, I've done that a number of times here.
Right.
And it's beautiful because it's pre-lit, ready to go. Just walk in, you get the cameras, you get the mics, and it's an hourly or 15-minute window fee.
Right.
Totally flexible. You can stack it up and get a couple different customers in here in a day, which is amazing. I wish my business had that kind of scale. It's like if I'm behind the camera for one customer, that's it for the day. I've got 365 potential earning days a year and one customer a day. So it's impressive to see you build something that has scale.
Right.
And the availability. So I think it's. Have you ever been in a situation where you've had to turn someone away because you're already booked?
I used to turn people away, and so that's why when I moved to this location, I said I want to have 3 rooms. I don't want to turn anybody away. People used to come here. They like working with me. I like working with them. And so to be able to accommodate them and have them come and have 3 people working in 3 different rooms at the same time, well, that's just great. That's awesome.
Well, Bernard, I appreciate your time and been an incredible friend and business peer over 20 years now.
20 years.
I mean, I've learned so much from you. I would say the biggest piece is, you're an inspiration in that, like, you took some big risks. You signed leases on commercial space.
Right.
The telco to send a television quality HD feed across the planet. That's a monthly commitment. You pay it whether you use it or not, right?
Exactly.
Those are big numbers, and those are like annual or multi-year contracts, right?
So if something happens where you can't use your studio for 2 months, or there's a flood, you're still obligated to pay that the rent, the telco, the internet, all that stuff. It's that stuff doesn't stop.
Gosh,
Even though your business stops, that stuff doesn't stop. So you got to find ways to make sure you can keep paying and keep it up.
Live link ups, Irvine, California. Bernard, what's the best way to get in touch for bookings?
If anybody needs to get hold of me to book studio time, podcasting time, the number to get hold of is it's 949-500-5932, or you can email me, Bernard@livelinkups.com.